Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another outstanding episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, presenting 15 minutes of fandom. Man, I always mess up that part. Anyways, in the first corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He's the tranquil dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana. Now they love him in Japan. No cap, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a man who is a profound wrestling fan. He's been showing his love all over New York, going to AEW, going to WWE, House of Glory, ITU, We Are Wrestling. Pretty much, he's all over the place, enjoying wrestling, and you can definitely tell that he enjoys it because he's pretty much I've met this man twice in twice in a month. Really cool guy. Everybody, welcome to the show, New York's own, and a fellow YouTuber as well, Henny Wrestling.
Woo! Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. No problem. It's not to have you. And wait a minute. Wait, what's that? What's up? I would do the other one where I run around a bit. Let me tell you something.
Nah, that's Chisel Adonis. Leave him alone.
Yeah, I'm kind of a big dude in my room, and this room I'm in is kind of small, so I might break
you.
something, and my mom's gonna have to come and talk to me. So
Rob Bates over there just shaking his head.
so Rob, you got to see this man's page to understand what I did, and yeah, man, you got to see it, Rob. You got to see it. But yeah, man. But how's it? Hey, how's everything in your neck of the woods, man?
I'm just taking a day at a time. That's all I can do, honestly. Ever since this pandemic, it just changed the perspective of like, yo, you just gotta take it a day at a time because like tomorrow is not promised. So that's basically what I'm doing, just taking a day at a time. Like I can't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's you're definitely right about that. But in my opinion, it's been better now than last year because last year we had like zero shows to go to. Like there were no shows at all, and
I
I
would
had
be
so much.
go ahead,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
I had so much planned for like pro wrestling wise. I was gonna go to WrestleMania, check out a couple of shows in New York, maybe even check out what's going on in North Carolina, which is where I was stationed at. And then next thing you know, like January is all good, okay, fine. February comes around, that's good. But then next thing you know, I start hearing about coronavirus, and then like middle of March, everything is just shut down, and nothing was going on wrestling wise, entertainment wise. I'm surprised that certain shows were able to like run still, not wrestling shows, but like TV shows. So this year, in a sense, has been it's shown like a sliver of hope, a sliver of light at the end of a rather dark tunnel. So yeah, I know how it is, man.
You want to hear something crazy?
Mhm. Go ahead.
So Blood and Guts was supposed to happen last year in Newark, New Jersey. And believe it or not, that day was going to be on my birthday, like literally on my birthday, March 25th. That was going to be my 30th birthday gift to go to AEW Blood and Guts because I always wanted to go to a War Games live and in person. That was like the perfect gift. Like literally March 25th is my birthday. That was the day I was born, and that was like the perfect gift. And then the pandemic messed it up for me. So trust and believe. Like I was so disappointed. I was like, wow, this pandemic messed it up for me. But other than that, 2020, the only thing that I was able to do was the meet and greets in Queens and Wrestling Universe. Like we couldn't get everyone, but the little time that we had, I'll say from August to December, that was the only thing that I was able to do as far as like wrestling activities is concerned.
Yeah, the wrestling universe. I gotta go there. I gotta check it out. They've been doing a lot of big things. Jack Bryant's been doing a lot of big things. I've been seeing they've gotten like pretty much everybody under the sun over there, and for some reason, every time it happens, like I either gotta do something happens, like I either gotta work or something. I was able to make the big event, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Met some cool people. It's crazy how like I met some people that I've seen online on Instagram and Twitter, and the next thing you know, boom, like they're right in front of me, like, hey, I see you guys around before. You're over you do this show, or you're always over there, and da 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 da. So yeah, I gotta check out the wrestling universe, man, and you know, and I'm actually glad I'm back in New York now because now I could do a bit more. By the way, hey, thank you very much for last Friday, man. Like if I would have been stuck in New Jersey because like I didn't even know like it was my first
Uh,
time there. So for those of y'all wondering, so I went to for the first time in probably like a year. I went to an independent show in over here in New York, well, over in New Jersey, which isn't that far.
yeah.
And the area that I was in, I was not familiar with it. Normally, when I go to show in New Jersey, I go to like Rahway or Metuchen, and Rahway is like it's like right over there, like, and then the train is not that far. But this time, I was going to I forgot Richfield Park. Richfield Park. I took a bus over there from Port Authority, and first off, I ended up missing my stop by like the guy said apparently 25 blocks, and then I was like, oh snap, I'm gonna be late for the show. But luckily, it was literally just like one straight walk, a left, and then a right.
Okay.
And I would have the show. I didn't miss the show, but I actually started but I actually I walked like 40 minutes, and it was nothing for me to walk. I mean, this was like 6:24 when I started walking, and I got there like by 7 o'clock, or like the show started at 8, so I got there like right before the doors were supposed to open. So that walking distance wasn't that, but it was getting back. I was like, okay, the show's over. How do I get back now? Where do I catch the bus to go back? And you guys actually helped. Actually, you guys and Jobber Tears actually helped me,
Mm-hmm.
arrange for me to get a lift back to New York City, and get the nearest train to go home. And I thank you for that, man. I really appreciate it because I
Listen,
don't know what would happen if,
listen,
you know,
appreciate Mr. Black. Shout out to Mr. Black from Java Tears podcast. Shout out to Moises. I hope I said his name right. It's funny, me and him, we just started to like be together. Like any wrestling show that it takes like a car to get there. Like me and him, if he's going and I'm going, we just meet up and we just go. So shout out to him, man, because this year, man, if it wasn't for him, I think I would not be going so many shows that I have been going on this year in 2021.
yeah, Jobber Tears, they have a profound effect on people. Like I've known of them since 2014 when they were doing the watch parties in New York City, and when I moved back here earlier, like 2 months ago, I was like, okay, I'm back in the city where Jobber Tears is at. I know they got a watch party going on. I end up going to like Legends and whatnot, and then they had a panel, and it was called the Jobber Talk panel. It was also celebrating those wrestling girls' 30th anniversary. So I'm like, I've met Wilkins before, Mr. Black and Janelle, and I've also met Queen P or Queen Patricia of Queen PR of those wrestling girls. She was actually on our show, so I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and we just had NYC Demon Diva, who is another lady too that's a YouTuber and so on. And I decided I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go out there and show my support and whatnot. and they were basically talking about how black and Latino, black and Hispanic wrestlers were booked, and even those of the LGBT community, how they were booked and how they weren't used right and so on, and they weren't really given a chance. And then they mentioned We Are Wrestling, and I'm like, okay, well, I've never been to We Are Wrestling, and I actually got to meet Pete Rosado at that same event. So I was like, let me go ahead and show some support. You know what I mean? I love indie wrestling too, you know, and indie wrestling is one of the reasons why I started doing this whole podcasting thing. So I
Uh,
was like, let me go ahead and show my support. And I went, and it was because of that particular event that I was able to go, that I decided to go and see We Love Wrestling. So that's my story, how I ended up there. But I gotta ask you, man, what was the event or the pay-per-view that made you become a fan of pro wrestling, or who was that one uncle or aunt or relative that pulled you aside and say, "Hey, check this out, man. Yo, you might like it, Henny."
all right, honestly, this has been, whew, Lord, the Lord knows, since a little kid, I have been a wrestling fan. So, just thinking about it, the first ever match that I could remember was Michaels versus Austin, and Mike Tyson was the special enforcer. Was it? I think it was WrestleMania 14, I believe. You guys could correct me. Like, it's been a long time.
It was WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania 14? Yeah, it was WrestleMania 14. Yeah, you
Okay,
got it.
WrestleMania 14. So, as we all know, Mike, as we all know, with WWE entertainment wise, Mike Tyson was popular. We all know that because of his knockouts and him knocking out people in 1 to 4 rounds, maybe later, depending on his cardio and the shape that he's been in and stuff. They put him there because it's WrestleMania, the big stage. Yeah, you guys already know. And Tyson was popular. Tyson was popular. So I saw that event. I was going for Austin. For some reason, I don't know why. I was going for Austin. Like I was hoping for him to win. He definitely did win the match. Tyson, knocked Shawn Michaels out. I was like, oh snap! Like what just happened? Wasn't he on Shawn Michaels' side? And then seeing him and Austin walking out, and then it just kept going for me. I stopped watching it. I stopped watching wrestling in 2006 because it was just almost the same. Like no disrespect, I just felt like it was the same thing. It was the same characters, this, that, and the third. I was just getting tired of it. Then I hopped back in 2009, and then from there I haven't looked back. Trust and believe I had to roll my punches because of WWE. So the only alternative I had at that time was TNA. But ever since 8, 9 years old, I have been watching wrestling. I've been a wrestling fan ever since.
Wow. So 2006 to 2009. What did you miss in 2006? Wait, when exactly did you stop watching? Did you? Because 2006 was the return of DX, and then
I'll say
2000.
I'll say like spring, summer. Cause also too, I was at that time, I had a dream to play professional baseball. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, I don't have the criteria that a lot of people would tell you. Hey, I was the best in high school. I went to Division 1 college. I got signed by such and such team, and then I came up short because of injuries or wasn't good enough. I was straight up trash. Like I wasn't even good. You know, there's nothing wrong believing in yourself, but at the same time, you need to be real with yourself because you can't sit here and say you're doing everything that you can, but in reality, you're not. And that was the issue with me. Like I wasn't real with myself. I did believe in myself, but I wasn't real with myself. I wasn't asking myself these questions like, am I am I going to practice am I practicing every other day? Am I exercising, get my body in the best shape possible? Am I eating right so my body can recover faster? Am I doing the things that I'm supposed to do so I could get to that level? I wasn't real with myself at that time. You know, so so that kind of play that a little bit, just a little bit, not too much, kind of played an influence. So yeah, so that was a good thing because now I am switched to where I'm at today. So if it wasn't for these moments that have been happening throughout these years, I would not be where I'm at today.
That's cool. That's cool to hear, man. And in regards to the baseball, I actually listened to your video you had on that one time, the reel that you had, and I just gotta say, man, hey, at least you gave it a shot. You know, you didn't just stay on the sidelines and you don't wonder what if. I always say rejection over regret. You know, so attempt something. You never know. It may work out for you. It may not work out for you. But the one thing, at least you know if you failed, you gave it your best and it didn't work out. You know, at least you could say that. Better than, man, I wish I had made an attempt. And what if? And it, trust me, it'll eat you out. It'll eat you up inside because I've had that happen many a times. And that's why with a lot of things, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it. If I fail, well, guess what? At least I attempted it. You know, I could say yes, I tried it. I wasn't successful. You know, so the fact of the matter is you tried, you know, and that's that. You know, that's life, man. Sometimes certain things, you know, will work out, certain things won't. But the bottom line is you tried, you attempted, and that was that. So yeah, man. But glad to see that, you're still a fan of professional wrestling. You haven't given up on it. You know, and I admit I'm a 31 year fan now, and I remember in 2010 I was so burnt out. WWE was like same thing, you know. Impact was my only alternative. Impact wasn't exactly giving me anything good. I mean, I knew of Ring of Honor, but I didn't know where to see it. But Impact wasn't giving me anything good, and WWE was they were like just doing stuff that wasn't really like eyebrow raising to me. So I was like, well, just I'm just gonna take a break from it. But I didn't take a complete break. I was still reading the 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 results and whatever,
Okay.
and that's what I was doing with that. But I just wasn't like fully in tune to it. So I knew about the whole Nexus thing and Daniel Bryan joining John Cena's team at SummerSlam and all that, but I just wasn't like sitting down and watching it. And at that time, NXT was doing their little game show like format, so that wasn't even enticing to me. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit out for this year and so on. But yeah, that was yeah, everybody. Sometimes people take a break. Sometimes you get burnt out, you know. So yeah. So what was your first wrestling show? Like what was the first wrestling show you attended live and in person?
Very, very, very first. Me and one of my close buddies. Shout out to Jonathan and his brand Beyond You. He's a photographer, also a videographer. So shout out to him. He's one of my closest buddies. Me and him, we went to a WWE live event. Now, was like during the SummerSlam season. So I guess it was like a couple of days before well, this pay-per-view in 2017, the Great Balls of Fire. That was when Joe faced Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. So that was like my first show, like going to a WWE live event in Madison Square Garden.
Cool. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. So how about indie wrestling? How'd you get into that? Because that's like a whole like it's funny how you get it. Because I got in because I got more. I knew of the indies, but I never really like got into them like hardcore. Like I used to read about them in magazines, but then what really got me into the indies was that you see Daniel Bryan, oh, he's from Ring of Honor, and you'd hear he's all the rage. And I'm like, okay, apparently he's a big thing. And then I caught him like on his last match in Ring of Honor, and then you hear about Seth Rollins. Yo, Seth Rollins is coming to WWE. Yo, he's into the Tyler Black, and I'm like, okay, another one. And then you hear about, yo, John Moxley's coming to WWE. John Moxley, and I'm like, okay, I'm missing something now. Something is missing, and I don't like it. And then I hear about Ring of Honor again. Okay, where can I see Ring of Honor? And then I hear about Evolve and Uha Nation, who is now known as Apollo Crews. And I'm like, where can I see this? And I had a buddy, shout out to my homeboy Chris Cartwright, who we've had on here too. I'm like, he gave me some DVDs to watch and so on. And he sent me some clips. And then I'm like, okay, wow, this is some real cool stuff. But where can I see it on a weekly basis? Is there a weekly show? Because I really want to find out about it. And I saw that OVW, which was WWE's former developmental territory, had a weekly show. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start with that. And then I saw there was another one called Anarchy Championship Wrestling or Anarchy Wrestling in Georgia. I started with that. That's actually where FTR came from too, and
Oh, nice. Okay.
Xavier Woods. So I'm like, okay, this is a start. This is how I'm gonna get back into the indies, watching what these men and women do here, so I can have a bit of an idea, and I can get more in tune with wrestling. Because I felt that once I saw that Tyler Black and Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan were coming up, I felt like now I'm like, well, damn, I thought I see it all watching Impact and WWE, but it's like I'm barely scratching the surface. So I gotta get back into this somehow. So, and I gotta thank George Alonso, who I always say he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi to my Anakin Skywalker. He pretty much helped me get into the podcasting game. Shout out to George. If y'all are in South Florida, hashtag shameless plug. Check out Sweetwater Pro Wrestling, which is his promotion. But he actually got me into that. He actually pretty much encouraged me to look more into it because his podcast was the first podcast I ever worked on. So yeah, man, that's how I got into it. But how did it happen for you, man?
I gotta take a deep breath because, man, I just wish I knew about the indies. Because, my goodness, I would not stop watching wrestling if I knew about the indies. I'm sorry. I felt left out. I felt left out for so many years. Like, you see, respectfully, you see WWE, you get frustrated. You're like, man, like, when we're gonna see something new and stuff, and then you see the indies, and you're like, where was this all along? You know? I'll be honest with you. I got to know the indies late 2010s. I'll say 2017, 2018. That's where I got to know about MLW, Major League Wrestling. Um, Evolve, I got to know. Unfortunately, I got to know like in late 2019. House of Glory, which is back on track. I was just there over the weekend. New Japan, I wish I knew about New Japan because goodness gracious, like these guys can go and they're stiff as heck too. Like um I I'll say late 2010s I got into the indies, but I just wish I knew about them like early because like trust and believe, I think I would not stop watching wrestling. I would ignore the WWE and just watch indies all the way. And then if something hot is happening in WWE, then I'll have my attention. But if not, I would have just stuck in the indies and I would have been happy. I would have been frustrated at the same time because the E could have done a lot better, but I would have been happy at the same time because there's something that I'm able to enjoy and there's something that I'm always going to look forward to instead of just like, oh, just another episode and just another same old thing.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, man. I just got a couple more questions before I turn over to Rob. So what do you think? So what are your thoughts on WWE's new and next in line? The new next in I guess the next in line era. What are your thoughts on that?
The next in line era. Are you talking about what the
The whole
rumors
thing with
are
the
like?
collegiate players and
Okay, okay. Um, the way I look at it is honestly, WWE has success with people that never never got into indies. We have seen that before. We have seen that with Brock Lesnar. We have seen that with Batista. I don't know who. I don't know who else. Bianca. I think did Bianca. No, I don't think Bianca was in. No, okay. Bianca. She's having success. I hope they keep it that way because this woman, despite not having any credentials in indies, she looked like she had been wrestling for almost all her life. She looks amazing. Um, you guys have to understand too. WWE is more of entertainment than wrestling. So if there's a popular name that everyone knows, like they will try to bring them so more people can come watch. Like if it's like a big name, like if it's a big name person that everyone knows, and they advertise it to come to the WWE, best believe everybody's gonna tune in to see what's going on. So it has worked in the past. There has been people that never stepped foot in the indies wrestling, but they have been successful in the WWE with the system that they are in. So I don't mind that as long as they are willing to persevere and put in the work that is needs to be put in to become one if not the best wrestlers the promotion has to offer. So I really don't mind as long as they're willing to put in the work and showcase people that they're not only athletes like on field or in the court, they're athletes in the ring as well.
Awesome, that's cool. Yeah, 60, I would say 65% of me doesn't like it because I feel like there's so many independent wrestlers on the road that go through, oh, you gotta go to this place and wrestle for this little bit of money, or you gotta cross state lines to wrestle for this bit of money. You're staying in, you know, not the best hotels or motels, or you got to sleep in your car, or right after the show, you got to drive right back and stuff like that. And everybody's goal most of the time is WWE. And now to have that possibly taken away from them. And rumor has that Vince McMahon was like, he doesn't want any more midgets, no more
Yeah, no more
people not
cruiserweights. The
British.
disrespect of the cruiserweights is beyond me.
Yeah. So, you know, I I could feel where they're coming from, and that reminds me of the Divas era where, and it's not my like I keep saying, people are probably gonna try to cancel me for this, but this is my opinion. I didn't care for it because to me, Vince looked at a modeling catalog and said, "Hey, you're beautiful. You can be my WWE champion." They could not have any wrestling skill whatsoever, but because of looks, they were put in that position, and that I didn't like because there were so many people that deserved that spot, like Mischief. At the time, Mischief, you had Daisy Hayes, you had Daphne, R.I.P. Daphne, and so many other women there that could do the work and they looked good too. But he didn't choose them. So that's why I didn't like, and that's why I'm kind of like iffy on which I'm calling it the NIL era, because now he's looking at people, men and women, and say, "Oh, you're a college athlete. You can be my champion." But at the same time, looking at people like Bianca Belair, and I mean, I've seen some of the people in the class. There's one or two amateur wrestlers, and I always say my theory, and it's been proven right many times. If you have an amateur wrestling background, especially a collegiate one, you're going to be successful. And we've seen it in Jack Swagger or Jake Hager. We've seen it in Dolph Ziggler, and even in Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, who have high school amateur wrestling backgrounds. They've been successful in my eyes. And of course, you can't forget Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist, the first ever WB Olympic gold medalist. So that the 35% of me is remembering those and others that have been successful, like Montez Ford, Bianca Belair, etc., etc. And even Naomi, because let's be honest, Naomi's a dancer. She didn't have no indie background, and they chose her. So the 35% of me is saying, give them a chance. I Remy, I know you're a a fan of the indie wrestlers and you'd like to see them do better, do good, but give these men and women a chance. So that's just my thing on it. Um, and I'm just gonna sit back and watch because I can't. I'm already at the point where of being a fan where I'm like, Vince and the gang are gonna do what they want to do. It's a matter of if I want to sit down and watch it,
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm and or if I'm just gonna at this point just turn the channel and see what Tony and the gang are doing, or Scott Demore and the gang are doing, and or what Brett Lauderdale is doing over there with GCW. So that's where my mindset is at right now.
Yeah, but like I said, WWE is focused more on entertainment than wrestling, so that's what honestly is kind of killing them right now. That they're not balancing wrestling and entertainment. They're just going all the way with entertainment and so little wrestling. I believe that's what's killing. And a lot of people put pictures of like you have crowds here and then the other side is empty as heck, and it's like you see why that is happening because of the fact that they don't switch, and also you don't see that much of wrestling, and it's frustrating when you have been a support of WWE for so long that you see these pictures of like empty seats and you're like what just happened, like how did this happen, like things of that nature. So like I said, I'm just gonna see what's going to happen. WWE is always gonna focus on entertainment, to please the endorsements, to please those like who invest in the stock market and things of that nature. So let's just wait and see, because we can be here and say that is whack, that's the worst idea, and then next thing you know, it'd be it'd be one of the legit, not great, not, I won't say a great idea, but it would be like a cool idea because of the fact that an athlete cannot make it to a professional level that they're at, but they make it to the wrestling industry.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. So I just got two more questions. So my second last question is you're from the Dominican Republic, or I think your family is.
My family, my
You know,
family. I was born here.
uh, I got to go to Punta Cana one of these days. Heard a lot of great things about it in Santo Domingo. Sometimes people over here think I'm Dominican. I'm like, no, 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 I'm Guyanese with a little bit of mixture. Start, don't. I'm no offense. Don't get me wrong. I love Aventura, and I think Prince Royce doesn't get his just due. And I have, surprisingly, been able to dance a bachata, even though I'm not that good of a dancer. But I gotta ask you, man. You've seen Marty Bell doing her thing, and she's been killing it in one half. I know you're proud. I gotta ask you. I know you're proud of that girl being one half of the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, possibly the first ever Dominican to actually hold the one half of the NWA Women's Tag Team titles. But there was another Dominican, and probably to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, the only Dominican that's actually ever competed in WWE, a man who goes by the name of No Way Jose. And his gimmick was he came out in the conga line dancing and so on. And what was your thoughts on that? Did you like that, or was it like, nah, this is not what we do? Nah, he needs to have a better gimmick. Or were you just happy that he was there? Because I can tell you right now, seeing Ezekiel Jackson, the only Guyanese ever to be on there, I was like, yo, I'm good. Like, yeah, I'm glad he's there. He didn't have any kind of gimmick really, but I was happy for him. But what was your mindset to see one of your fellow countrymen getting the shine, but at the same time they had what was your thoughts on him overall?
All right, so with No Way Jose, man, I wish I had the opportunity to go to Takeover Brooklyn 3 and see him against Austin Aries, man. I wish I had that chance. Um, when I got to know about NXT at that time, I wasn't too sure about him. I was like, oh, it's just one of those that is just gonna like entertain people. But then when they start like pushing him and him showcasing his wrestling skills and stuff, I was like, okay, I could deal with that. Like, like yeah, he could have fun and dance, but don't let that fool you because he can go. he can go wrestle. So I like that first ever Dominican, if we're not mistaken, he being in a WWE, especially in a platform like NXT. I just wish he won a title in WWE, but unfortunately, it is what it is. But I was just happy, to know that a person that came from Dominican Republic actually not only went to NXT, but also had his shine during his time in the WWE as well.
Yeah, I honestly hope that I was hoping that he would have reached the levels. I mean, he still could. I mean, he's still wrestling, but I was hoping that he could have reached the level in WWE, the level of a I know you probably know this guy Jack Veneno, who was
Yeah.
the first ever Dominican to hold the NWA World Heavyweight title. And but we'll see. I he has the size, he has the charisma. I think the man can definitely go. So my last question is, what was the greatest moment you've ever experienced as a wrestling fan? Whether it was meeting a wrestler, attending a show, or attending a WrestleMania, what was the greatest moment that made you look back and be like, yo, I'm glad to be a wrestling fan, man. Like, no shame about it, no joke about it.
All right. I might give you a few. So the greatest one has been a couple of years ago. When I went to my second takeover in Connecticut, takeover 25. AEW is gonna have a show there, I think in February, Dynamite. The same venue takeover 25 was at. Um it was a hassle. It was a hassle. First of all, my mom didn't want me to go because it was in Connecticut and stuff, and I'm like, I'll be perfectly fine. If something happens, I'll hit you up, but I'll be perfectly fine. And then the other hassle was my backpack. I don't know if you saw my backpack that I carried with me on Friday at We Are Wrestling. I was that close to not going in because
Yeah.
of that backpack, because of the length and stuff. And thank God, we was able to talk it out, and I was able to get in. Unfortunately, I missed the match of Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong, which many people told me that was a crazy match between Roderick Strong and Matt Riddle. But the greatest moment, honestly, was seeing Adam Cole win the NXT title against Johnny Gargano at Takeover 25. I have never seen myself um rooting or cheering for a wrestler like I did for Adam Cole at that time. I was hoping that he would win, because it's like every time I see him in a championship match, it's like he lose. Either he drops the belt or he lose. Except that latter match. But seeing him win the NXT title at Takeover 25, for me, that was like one of the greatest things. It's like seeing a kid. It's like a kid seeing John Cena win a WWE title. That's how I felt in that moment. And then meeting him 5-6 months later, back when Evolve was a thing. Um I don't know, like I don't know if you guys believe in God, but I feel like God knows God knows what he's doing, man. Because it's like me and my friend, we spoke after I met Gargano, Theory, Walter, and Ciampa in September 2019 at Evolve. I told one of my friends, like, my goal is to meet Adam Cole, and then next thing I knew, in October, I get an email from Evolve saying that Adam Cole is coming to New York for Evolve. I was like, oh snap. And then meeting him and talking to him, it was like like, I just sit there and be like, yo, I can't believe I met Adam Cole. Like, what the hell? So honestly, those was like those like my two great moments. Like, seeing Adam Cole win the NXT title at Takeover 25, and meeting him 5-6 months later. I met him in November 2019. So that was cool. And also meeting Kota Ibushi when New Japan had their East Coast tour. Like, I never met a Japanese wrestler, and it was cool that I met him at that time that he won the G1 tournament, and then I could be able to say that I met a IWGP heavyweight champion. Although I met three right now, which is him, Jay White, and now recently Will Ospreay.
Awesome. That's cool, man. Speaking of New Japan, I would like to. It's probably not going to happen now because I'll probably have to meet them separately. But I would like to meet one of my former favorite tag teams. So they broke up. Roppongi 3K. That was definitely one of my favorites. I used to work out to their one song that they had that Rocky Romero actually rapped for them and so on. So yeah, that's New Japan is just nice, man. Like it's like a breath of another breath of fresh air too. And I'd recommend it to anybody. If they're looking for something different, New Japan is definitely it.
Yo, New Japan, bro. Like you're not gonna be disappointed. You're not.
Yeah. And by the way, if y'all ever go to Japan, make sure you check out Wrestle Kingdom if you go in January, and make sure you go to Ribeiro, which is where the wrestlers all go to get their jackets and to dine and whatnot. And sure you go to the New Japan store. I was able to go there once, actually twice. Really cool place, small but really cool. See a lot of history there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. But kind of Rob asked some questions for you. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, man? How's everything going today?
Everything's good, man. Just looking forward. Just making sure that we were ready to rock and roll for today.
Oh man, yeah, we ready to rock, man. We ready. We always ready, man. So how was your day today, man? You do anything interesting, man? Anything fun
Uh,
happening up there in New York?
no, I was in Garfield mode today.
You were in Garfield.
No, I was in Garfield mode. You know that cat that always be lazy.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah, just hanging out eating lasagna. Okay, I got you.
Nah, not lasagna, but you know.
There you go. There you go. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. So I do gotta say, man, yeah, I was checking out some of your stuff, man, doing a little research, man. I got to see, man, like Remy said, you go to a lot of indie shows, man. So like, what are your favorite indie show promotions, man? Like, I know you mentioned a lot of them. What are your favorites you love to go to?
Right now I got like 4 or 5 that if for some reason I can't go to anywhere else, this will be the ones. Battle Club Pro, which I recently have been going this year. Um, We Are Wrestling. This is their second show. Shout out to Pete Rosado. Um, Invictus Pro Wrestling. That's another one that I just went there last month. I actually sponsored their main event of the show last month. House of Glory. I wish I knew House of Glory um back then in the 2010s, because the guys that we see now on television, I could have met them there at House of Glory. And Global Syndicate Wrestling. That's all I got to know. I got to know the brand this year as well. Get to meet one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, Austin Aries. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I love what he does in the ring and in the mic. He's real that he gets. So those are the 5. Oh, no, there you go. Those are the 5 that I would like. Those are the 5 that I would choose right now.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, there's some good ones, man. Yeah, if you got time, man, because I work for 1CW, man. I rep for them, man. Check out 1CW, man. We got some awesome matches and stuff. We're also our sister promotion. You might have heard of them, CCW. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had the thing. Yeah, because we run the on the same day. You know, we got a match and then they do the match. We got a match, they do the match.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. Check them out, man. Check us out, man. Yeah, we tear it up, man. We be blowing the roof off, man.
Awesome.
So I get.
Awesome.
So do you have a next show lined up, man? Indie show lined up? Do you got anything this weekend, next weekend, or something?
Well, right now I'm just taking like a couple of weeks off. This week I'm heading to a meet and greet. WWE Hall of Famer Jacqueline is going to be there, so
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to go in and get her in the bucket list. The Smoke Show, Scarlett, Killer Cross. Well, a lot of people know him as Karrion Cross, but Killer Cross on Fiance is gonna be there, and Isaiah Swerve Scott's girl Jessica is gonna be there as well. I was just only thinking to get Jacqueline, but I was like, I'm gonna get all 3 of them, so why not?
Yeah, you might as well. If you're going there, hey, go ahead, man. Man, it's crazy, man. You know, I knew him as Killer Cross too, and then he joined NXT. It's like, all right, Carrying. Then they released him in a month, and it's like, all right, I guess I gotta learn to go back to Killer again, man. So it's like, I hope I don't call him Carrying, man. Like Killer, it's Killer, not Carrying. Damn it. Ah, man, WWE. Ah.
All
So I
right.
did get.
All right,
I did
so
get to see a couple pictures, man, of people you met,
yeah.
like Gabby Ortiz and Darius Carter, man. What was it like meeting them? 'Cause I've met them before, at the shows, what I mean, backstage. But I met Gabby last weekend and stuff, man. She's
Uh,
pretty cool.
I haven't met Darius Carter yet, but I gotta be careful because he's like MJF. He kayfabes.
Oh yeah, 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 that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
I gotta I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta I gotta be careful with him. Shout out to Darius Carter, man. I gotta agree with Pete Rosado. Him not going to other states and other promotions is a crime, because this dude, as a heel, goodness gracious, he will make you hate his guts, but he will make you respect him as far as like his wrestling abilities and his tactics and the things that he does, to break his opponents down and to do whatever it takes um to win. And honestly, his entrance, I love his entrance. Like at the beginning I wasn't with it, but then once I called it, I was like, his entrance is unbelievable. Like, I just wish a lot of people knew about his entrance. Like, this guy should be traveling all over United States, wrestling in indie shows. Like, this man is unbelievable. Like, I don't know if they're scared to like bring him and stuff, but Darius Carter, the old father, like, this man should be like everywhere. Like, people should know this man's name. And I hope that one of these days, we hear him not only in We Are Wrestling, not only in Battle Club Pro, not only in Invictus Pro Wrestling, but other promotions such as Northeast Wrestling, Chaotic Wrestling, Beyond Wrestling, AAW in Chicago, where I forgot what other promotion that is popular. Like, any GCW. Well, stay away from him with the death match. He ain't got nothing to do with that. But
You could say the United Wrestling Network, because they have Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Championship Wrestling from Arizona, Wrestle Atlanta.
yeah,
I think Rob, I think y'all over there in Delaware are part of that now too. So yeah, that's another one that would be good for him too as well.
yeah. So this man, like, come on, y'all. Um, but honestly, I gotta thank the wrestling universe, to be honest with you, because if I didn't know that brand, I would not meet so many wrestlers that I have met from 2019 to the beginning of 2020. Now, the beginning of 2020, the only wrestler that I met from that store was Killer Cross before he moved on to WWE. But then from the August of 2020 forward, that's where I met almost all the wrestlers in that Wrestling Universe store.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, man. I completely agree with you with Darius DC Carter, man. That man, he needs to be, all wrestling all over, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't want to kill his character or anything, but yeah, man. When I met him, I went to go shake his hand. When you go backstage, you go introduce yourself to everybody. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm Rob. He's like, get your filthy paws away from me. Who you think you are? So you know what I mean? Yeah, man. He's MGF heel, man. So yeah, you don't want to mess with him, man. So yeah. Yeah, he definitely needs to be on TV and stuff, man. He's the man. I like Darius, man. He's awesome. Hopefully he comes back, man. You know what I mean? Come back to Delaware, man. That'd be awesome. Oh man. So who's your favorite to watch, right now, man? Do you have any favorites? Like, this, like, oh man, this person's coming on TV. This guy or gal, man. I gotta watch their match.
Honestly, I don't have a favorite because I know everybody. I know everybody was saying, I'm like, oh, he's gonna say Adam Cole. He's gonna say Adam Cole. But honestly, for me, if you can wrestle, if you can wrestle, I'll mess with you. I always gonna look forward to see you wrestle. Like, if you could cut promos and you have a character, that's a plus. But your in-ring skills for me has to be first, because I'm more of a person that sit back and want to see a good match than, like, promos and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if they do shoot a good promo, it will get me interested. But I'm more concerned of the in-ring skill than anything else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was watching promos, in-ring skills and stuff, man. Like yesterday, I don't know what happened, man. I went down a rabbit hole and was watching Ernest the Cat Miller stuff, man. Just like, promos of him. just coming, man. That man was funny as hell, man. Like that dude was hilarious, man. Every time he come out there, man, I'm just watching him, man. He just break down his opponents. I'm like, all right, yeah, Ernest The Cat, man. We need to talk about him more. He needs to be talked to more, man. Yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Oh man. So you were saying, man, you're driving in Jersey and stuff, man. So do you like driving in Jersey? I hate driving in Jersey. All them damn right turns and all that, man. It's so expensive to get out of Jersey, man. They let you get into Jersey for free, and then when you try to leave, they're like, yeah, it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 to go over this bridge. You're like, what? Oh man, I'm just going to Delaware, man. It's like $3 to get. Oh, come on, man.
One of my buddies actually drives. I don't drive, but I'm on my way. But trust and believe, if I'm ever going to drive, it's not going to be in the city because it's a headache. I would rather drive in the suburbs than drive in the city any given time of the week. No, honestly, I just go if I have public transportation and if the Uber rides is cheap, I will go as well. Like the Richfield Park for me, all, Knights of Columbus, all I have to do was just get to the Port Authority bus, cross that bridge, find a spot that I could Uber ride a cheap price, and I'm there. Now getting back is a headache. And I see why Remy I see why Remy had a hard time. Trust and believe, I went through that in August. Like going to Knights of Columbus was fine. Coming back from Knights of Columbus was a headache. So I had a Uber ride my way home. And trust and believe it wasn't cheap because they charge you because the driver they have to like pay the toll for you to like cross the George Washington Bridge. So honestly, like I said, if it wasn't for my buddy that I was with in We Are Wrestling, because we really went to a lot of wrestling events together this year. And trust me, if it wasn't for him, trust and believe I would not went to like an events like Northeast Wrestling in Poughkeepsie, Global Syndicate Wrestling that happened in Asbury, New Jersey. Events like that I would never went if it wasn't for me. If it wasn't for me getting get to know him and and us love wrestling, things of that nature. So yeah, so for me, if there's public transportation, I would go, and I thank goodness HOG has opened up because man, I mean I love Richfield Park, New Jersey, but shoot, man, it could hurt your pocket if bad timing could hurt your pocket. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, because I'm trying to go up to, man, next time they have like a wrestling show at Madison Square Garden, I'm trying to take a train up there because I heard the Penn Station's right underneath of there and stuff.
yeah,
And from Delaware, I can go up like Newark or drive up Newark or Wilmington and just take the train up there. Because I was like doing the calculations. I was like, man, it's cheaper to get a train ticket, there and back than it would for me to drive up there, paying the tolls, gas, maybe stop and get something to eat, all that there and back. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that, man, because I never knew. I thought, trains take me somewhere, and I'm like, oh man, where do I go now? I mean, where's this place at, man? New York's big, man. Every time I go there, I'm like, woo, because it's crowded. I mean, I'm country.
yes it
What I mean,
is.
I'm not used to all the people, but I'm not so bad when I walk around. I'm not like, I've been there enough. I've been there enough not to just be standing there. Oh, look at that. So I at least walk around. But yeah, woo, yeah. But yeah, next time they go there, man, I'm definitely trying to go up to Madison Square Garden because that's like the mecca of wrestling and stuff, man. It's like one place I gotta go see a show.
They actually have a live event coming up next week. So
Oh, okay, shoot.
I'm not sure if you're with it. I'm not sure if you're with it. I don't know if the timing is right, but they have a live
Wait,
event
is
over
next
there
week?
next week.
Next week's Christmas, right?
Yeah, so they're having a
Ooh.
show on Sunday, so that'll be the day after Christmas.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I got those few days I go visit family and stuff, man. So yeah, I might not be able to do it. I'd probably do it at a later date though.
No problem. So anything, I'll let you know in advance.
Oh yeah,
I'll let
yeah,
Remy
yeah.
I'll let Remy know, and he can send you the info.
That's right. Yeah, because I'm definitely trying to get up there, man. Watch the wrestling show with Remy, man. After that, man, me and him, we gotta go down to Louisiana and go hang with Kathy, our other co-host, man.
Woo.
The only thing I'm just worried about going down there and seeing swamp monsters and stuff, man. Because I'm
Oh
like,
gosh.
man, like the animals here, like deer and squirrels and raccoons and stuff. Normal stuff, man. Down there, she got like chupacabras or something, or alligators and stuff, man. Like, oh man, in a Sasquatch, like, woo, I ain't trying to mess with that. But yeah, man, I do want to say, thank you, for taking the time out of your busy schedule, coming on chat with us, man. I definitely had a blast. Yeah, I wish nothing but the positive things for you, your family, and all that good stuff. And yeah, I hope you get to meet all the wrestlers you want to meet and see who you all want to see in the future and all that good stuff, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Henny, thanks for actually, taking time out to, shoot the breeze about wrestling and so on. I really and truly appreciate it. And this is actually one of our segments that we actually live for, that actually makes us who we are. It's, interviewing fans like yourself and many others and so on. So I just gotta say, thank you very much for giving us opportunity and whatnot. And hey, we probably might end up bumping into each other again. I'm actually I might go to the wrestling universe to see, Jacqueline and Killer Cross and Scarlett and Jesse. I know her as Jesse Alaban on Instagram, or what. I don't know what they're calling her now.
Killer Cross is coming in February. He's still on a 90-day non-compete clause, so he's coming in February. So he's coming in February. But Scarlett definitely, if nothing crazy happens, definitely will come in New York this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to check that out for real. But with that being said, before we shut down the show, where can fellow fans find you on social media? If when they want to talk wrestling, because you also do your own. You have your own YouTube channel, and fat people, I'm telling you, check this man's channel. It's really cool. It's really funny. Anytime you see, the part that gets me is when a wrestler gets hit with a serious move, and you see the guy singing that song.
Oh.
you got to follow this man and check out his content. It's really funny. It's really cool. A lot of classics this man does. You got to check it out. Trust me. You see why I'm smiling right now and why I'm laughing. But where can fellow fans find you on social media, man?
All right, I'm probably like everywhere, but you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on TikTok, on YouTube. I forgot, and who else? Yeah, you can follow me on that. I also have a podcast. So if you have Apple, I'm not too sure if I'm in Spotify, but if I am, you could check me. You could follow me on Spotify. If you use Spotify as a podcast, if you use Apple as a podcast, I'm there as well. Yeah, basically it. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube.
Awesome. So y'all definitely make sure you follow this man. Trust me, you will not be bored. You'll thoroughly be entertained. Then you'll understand why whenever I see him, I'm like, yo, what's that? You'll see why I do that. And you might even do it too. So yeah. But that being said, it is time for us to shut down the show. Rob Bass, the Eminem to my Royce the 5'9", the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin, and the Bubba Ray to my Devon. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers or promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Rob_Bass82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Bass.
Great. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool or interesting to say, but who knows, maybe you'll get lucky one of these days. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRemyBlue. You can also find me on Facebook under Remy Blue. You can also find our podcast on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're also on Spotify, where you can actually listen to our first two seasons and part of season three, which is our current season. And we are still on Block Talk Radio. We still have an account there. And we are also on YouTube, yes, where we actually stream our episodes like this one and many others as well. So check us out. Once you go on YouTube and type in Ringside Society and you see that sweet OMG dark blue, light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, that's us. Subscribe to all our videos there. And We're also on Facebook as a Facebook group, so definitely join our Facebook group as well. And last but not least, we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have t-shirts, we have tank tops, we have hoodies, we have long sleeve shirts. We even have coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. So definitely check us out. Cop some Ringside Society merch. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. It doesn't go back into our pockets. Trust me. I'm still eating hamburger helper, and Rob is still eating Kool-Aid sandwiches. So please help us out. But with that being said, speaking of merchandise, we currently have our Christmas giveaway going on right now. Yes, we're giving, as a matter of fact, thanks to our friend, the Diamond Sheik of Nightmare Factory fame, he's actually donated a third shirt. So now it'll be 3 lucky winners that'll be getting a Ringside Society hoodie as well. So all you have to do is answer these 3 questions. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give them to you right now. You ready? Here it goes. The first one is, what was the name of the WWE pay-per-view that ran from January 2005 to January 2007? The second one is, what was the name of Doink's sidekick in WWE? And the third one is, who was the first ever AEW world champion? If you know the answers to those questions, DM us on Twitter, on Instagram, and once you get it, once we confirm that you've gotten all 3 right, we will enter you into the raffle, which will be drawn this Sunday, December 19th, after our episode that day. So good luck to all who are entering. And with that being said, it is about time for us to actually end this show right now. And my phone is actually getting low, so that means I definitely have to get going. So, but we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live. We really and truly appreciate it. It means a lot to us. We're able to do something correct. So those of y'all that listen to us later on via our YouTube channel, Twitch, or even Facebook group, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that can't stand us, hate us, really and truly wish we just go away, well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we ain't going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
We ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we here at Ringside Society are very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the great, hilarious, informative, and eyebrow-raising content of Henny Wrestling.
Woo!
Baby.
What type of podcast?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And with that being said, we will be back tomorrow with another impressive guest. But until then, we're still going through a pandemic. So stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, party on, dudes. And since Henny Wrestling here, remember, it's all about the boom. Y'all have a good night.
Y'all good night. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Carlson, my trainer. You know what I mean? Shout out to him.